Okay. Okay. That up. Okay. Alrighty. Been a hot minute, hasn't it? Drop this into the announcements. Go. Okay. How's it going? It's been a hot minute. We got new games to play. I'm very excited. Get to finally go back to the Ace Attorney world. Because just last week, I think. Uh why isn't it? There it is. It's Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. I very much enjoyed the other Ace Attorney games. They're a lot of fun. Very good detective romp. And now the next trilogy is here. I had wanted to actually play these games pretty well as soon as I'd finished the other ones, the original Ace Attorney trilogy. But man, getting them to work was a bit of a pain in a nice enough format. So I shelved that, played some other stuff, and I guess patience was rewarded, because now, look at it! It's Ace Attorney, Apollo Justice. It's here, and it's using the new engine that the newest games uses, so it should all be in 3D. That's very exciting. So I guess, things working, yes. Mic capturing, game audio capture. That one's a Discord, so it doesn't matter if anyone here to, doesn't really matter if those levels are right. So, let's just hop into it. Game selection is Ace Attorney, Apollo Justice. For episode. Oh, wow, there's more games in here than I thought. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destiny. And Spirit of Justice. Also, oh, the museum, okay. Oh, Orchestral Hall, Art Library, Animation Studio, Accolades. Ah, very fun. Alright, let's do this. Apollo Justice. Ace Attorney. Episode 1, Turnabout Trump. Okay. Go. Oh, very stylish. Go downtown. Boo. Ugh. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. Cop should be here any minute. And we're just here. Okay. April 20th, 9:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Bob's sweaty. In a minute, I'm nervous. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wrist off. Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. Screeching noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. First trial. The homicide. I guess justice starts small, eh? I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Cores of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. That explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to you. I overdid it. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down. Get my drift? Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him. Can't let the case fall through. Yes. I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so. People might take you the wrong way. Prepare for our case. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. I know very little about what goes on in these games. I'm very happy to be involved in them. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help out, of course. So do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Whoa. Good, morning. It's all up to you today. First trial. Nervous. Meeting him. Cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So you're... Fine, I'm fine. Fine, is it? I did remember you have a name. Oh, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney. And he's your friend, so why... You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, Time. Shall we? Yes, sir. Okay. Focus. First trial. Here comes justice. 20th, 10 p.m. District Court. Courtroom number 2. That Winston. An awful suit he's wearing. Why the bright green suit? Court is now in session. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. God, what happened to you, Winston? Really let yourself go. Defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind quite blank. Don't panic. Too late. Not quite 3D. Your name was Mr. Justice? And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really. Quite sure. Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin. Yes, Your Honor. Impression that you would be heading up this case. My intention, yes. However, defense attorney must always see client's wishes. My client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to this greenhorn, why? Do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Okay, the Gavin's got trial experience, fine. Does he have to have cords of steel? Does he have cords of steel? What? Let's begin. Defendant may enter the courtroom. Truly an unfortunate turn of events. Or we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Phoenix, what have you done? Why are you being accused of murder again? Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Piano player? Right. How could this have happened? I won't speak of it further, then. Prosecution, be so kind as to explain the charges. Payne? I think that I saw you enter this courtroom a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. Ah, Winston Payne. Little as ever, I see. Ahem. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowling Club, Russian restaurant. Borscht Bowl Club. Not bowling. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him. Wham! On the head. Smack! Killed him cold. Customer at the restaurant, you said. And the defendant, say he was... the pianist for the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright. Pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Deadly bottle out of the court record. Note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. Court record. Right. I heard that. Use E to look at evidence. Attorney badge. How long did I yearn for one of these? Just putting it on makes me feel ready. Smith's autopsy report. Who did Phoenix kill this time? Christoph Gavin, age 32, boss at Gavin Law Offices, first-rate defense attorney, and my trusted mentor. Phoenix Wright, age 23. How old was Nick in the other games? I think he was 20 and went up to 25. It took him 5 years for his life to lose his license and become a pianist. Or I guess 8 years. He's the Borscht Bowl Club, formerly an ace defense attorney, some renown. Patty Smith, victim of this case, a traveler only recently back in country. Winston Payne, age 61, prosecuting attorney. For all his experience, he lacks a certain presence. This autopsy report. Time of death was around 2 p.m., April 17th. Death caused by a single blow to the forehead. Crime photo number 1, sub-basement, Borscht Bowl Club. Okay, single blow to the forehead. His hat is covering his forehead. Open, ball on the table in front of him is empty. Cards down, scattered. Air. Basement of the Borscht Bowl Club? Sub-basement. Deadly ball. Grape juice ball used in the murder weapon bears the defendant, Mr. Wright's print. Okay. Oh my god, why is it so... Alright. Interesting. Grape juice. Alright, we get 3D case examination. Or fucking clue examination. Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how it goes. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. Like... Well, it's completely empty. Okay. Yeah, okay. Be good. I can look at everything, wow. Number inscribed on the back of the badge. Numbers like it, but this one's mine. Truth that I'm it. Truth, I get a happy feeling. I just look. Very observation. Badge around. Navigator's name, Shady Smith, age something, male, estimate time of death, 1:45 p.m. Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from blunt trauma. I'm confident in your ability. Right, sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. Already done that. Well, the victim was a customer. Just who was this, Shady Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveler. Traveler? According to his passport, he's been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. He has some sort of connection with the defendant. That too is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime. They had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing. That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skills. At least not playing piano. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we could see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself. Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal.
Objection!
It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. It was only that, a game, in your sense. Competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Near the cards, the backs breathed in blue flame. Know its final outcome. Come again. The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women.
That will be our first order of business here. Find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. We'll testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure.
This is it. Our first trial. Here goes nothing. I'm a pianist by trade. Hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. Rules are simple. Play a game of poker using decks of cards. That's all it is. Game. Our customers are happy. Pianist who can't play piano. Better than a defense attorney who can't defend.
Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination.
Right, Your Honor. The first cross-examination. Don't blow it. All right. Putting bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech. Voice sounds strained and raspy. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. Watch me perform cross-examination many times.
Oh, you've never been done one yourself, have you?
Care for a refresher?
Yeah, should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course in cross-examination?
Sure.
Why not?
Better safe than sorry, especially this early in the game. Yes, teach me. I know nothing.
Your job, Justice, is to be mindful of what record and testimony. Look for inconsistencies in the testimony. What record tells you.
Found an inconsistency? That's when you present conflicting evidence.
What record with...
I didn't hear anything strange at all in the testimony just now.
Sign that you need to press the witness.
You from information. Press him? And let the fact that he's a remarkable man hold you back. Get more information.
But isn't Mr. Wright my client?
Well, good.
Yes, thank you, sir. I think it can do it. Better, or we're going to have a problem. Remember, find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony. Reveal them to... That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it. Consistency. Lies. Phoenix, right? As if. Phoenix Wright would never lie. It's up to me to prove it. Defense may begin the cross-examination. Here we go! We're back! Ah, the little cut-ins are cute. Edition. He is by trade and can hardly play at all. You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes. The customers demand it. I play them one song. That's usually all they want. That's supposed to be a boast, just... Title of pianist. Respectable face I wear for the world at large. Why are you at the Borscht Bowl Club? They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. Professional, after all. Ah! I detect pride in that statement. Hard for an honest, hard-working member of society to be to imagine. Yes. Your imagination was always a bit limited. What? I played poker for 7 years in that little room. And never lost once. What? See where the customers come now? Beat the undefeated poker champion. Quite the draw. It is. I'm quite the draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. Played poker for 7 years and not lost once? Is that even possible? Play in the competition. Club's main attractions. From the crime scene photo. Just an attraction? It's quite a history, actually. Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice to say, that there were a lot of deals being made. Right there in that room. Smoky room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. Bosses gather around the table, cutting deals, safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a good keeps watch through a small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout. What else? The room had a few other tricks to it, though it wasn't common knowledge to regulars. At any rate, come to play poker in the room steeped in history. Quite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. They're simple. We play a game of poker using decks of cards. 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. Each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene, a sad sweep of cards. Poetic, really. Incidentally, we types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other was blue. If I recall, in poker you make 5-card hands. You can see how it would be easy to cheat. Eh. Yes. Hands. This competition you're talking about. I believe the court understands the nature. That's right. There's a simple game, after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games. Defendant, you were in the room at that very moment the crime occurred. Claim no connection to the crime.
Now that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that. Ask me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't spare yet, Justice. Sir? Right, there's something I'd like made clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. And I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well. The defendant will amend his testimony. It's one little press. Got myself a whole new testimony. I plead silence regarding the murder, but I say I never touched the murder. Hold it! Silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. Why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. Your job to turn that around in our favor, yes? Great. Like I didn't have enough to do already. Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony? Huh? Wait, one thing he said did ring a little strangely. Yeah, his fingerprints were on the bottle. One thing. Now, what was it? Figure it out. I'm just presenting evidence. Evidence that contradicts the contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony? Why? Better check the court record. Can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to jump to conclusions? Go first, cross-examination. It's slow. Need more information, don't forget to press. Right, I got it. I'm fine. Listen to the testimony again. Not regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Sent. Okay. I can re-examine it. So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon? This grape juice bottle? Right? I said. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? The matter, defense attorney never learned how to play dumb. Winston running his hand through his hair. That's so funny. What a great animation. What's this, Mr. Payne? I examined the bottle in question, you see. And it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints. Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears. And our case. But my cords of steel. Anyway. What's so strange about the fingerprints on the bottle in the restaurant? Well, that's true. Prints alone don't prove... No, they wouldn't prove a thing. If they were normal fingerprints. Huh? But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down. Upside down? What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted. And there can only be one reason for that. Yes. You could braid someone with a bottle. What? Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything, you see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? It hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason. Objection! Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright. But still, that...
Really?
Yes, well, according to the case file. The murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in the basement 2 floors from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in the hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
God, what a shithole this place is. Oh, the plaster's cracking? What is on the piano? I see. This is the phone that made the call. Its cell phone added to the court record. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime, if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he's being uncooperative? Ugh. Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I better not waste this. I think the prosecution our client enough for the time.
Lloyd, I assure you no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the very moment the crime occurred? How can you possibly know? Question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are.
No one else was in the room the night of the crime? Does mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up till now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand.
Who are you? The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness?
I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people.
Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
Are you sure?
I swear it on my grave. I swear it on my gavel. Please come out.
Violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you're sure, it's okay.
Aw, you're cute. It's a shame you're a murderer, but you're cute. Wait just a minute. Prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia?
Yes. She's a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade.
That would be...
Her name is Olga Orley. Employed as a waitress at the Borscht Bull Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve Borscht at his naming restaurant. But I also perform, how he said, other service.
I take it one of those other services, taking the customer's pictures.
Like, for example, this one.
Oh, shit. Okay. So, oh, it's snow. Why is there snow in the restaurant? What the fuck? What is this restaurant? Defendant and... Right? Talking to each other. That's... Defendant.
Indeed, on the night of the murder. Man in white hat is one who had gone kaput.
Wright is wearing his necklace. Indeed. That is the victim. Order, order! Quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps.
It's the same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht on laps of customers, casually.
The court will casually accept this new evidence. I need to take a look at some stuff.
Now, witness, where were you on the time of the murder?
I was in room. The hideout, we call it. Take a look. Right cell phone uses the defendant to notify the police the first. Fuck. Wow, the battery is being held on with a piece of tape. Just buy a new one. He can't afford it. Or he just doesn't care. Oh, that's it? I can't. Awesome. Glad that was so very informative. Wearing a pendant, talking to each other. Bottles of grape juice are sat Phoenix's left, right by the piano. So wants one. Probably just reach down and grab it, which is playing the inverted grip. That's a pretty tall crate. Excuse me? The hideout? Room where famous gangster bad guy. It's a room where famous gangster bad guy was arrested. His room where murder took place. What? Well, look, what a surprise. It is lovely. I will post my courtroom door later for you. Photos will be numbered and you will write which one you want a copy of. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. Victim, Shaddy Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley. Witness. Mr. Wright isn't the killer. That means... Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events. That fateful night. That night, customers asked me to deal cards for game. Both players played with hats on, The victim, he plays whole time with his hands on locket at his neck. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death. A lot is very wrong with that statement. Incidentally, who won the game? Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim. Smith. Objection! That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose. Ahem. Justice. Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection. But he hadn't lost in 7 years. Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case my first 7 years as prosecutor either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are poker chips, as they lay at the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith. Chips, you say? I mean, yes. Imagine the poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils. I know that, after all. In my youth, I was known as the poker head of the courtroom. Number 3. I think he means poker face. Yeah, this picture. It does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. Chips photo. Well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Alright. There's a lot wrong with this testimony. Let's take a look. Chips photo. Okay, bottle of wine. Deck of cards. Olga's wearing mittens. Olga's prints wouldn't show up on the bottles. Phoenix's... Both got... Oh wow, both of them got full houses. But the dead guys got... high. Okay. asked me to deal cards for game. We're dealing cards. Do this often? Ah, I am doing this. Customer wishes it, I serve anything. Borscht, cards, more borscht. Is my work. It's good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service. Welcome you to Borscht Bowl Club, where borscht is warm as waitress. Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross. Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. Duh. It's already April. How could it be cold? At Borscht Bowl Club, we have pride in authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside is city in spring, but inside is always cold as Mother Russia. No way I'm going there. When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, duh. The victim he plays whole time with his hand on locket at neck. Locket? I believe it was good luck charm, duh. He gripped it many times as he played that night. Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, wouldn't have much lift. Pence would like clarification. This is a locket we're talking about. I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket. Of course, I knew that. Probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that. No, a locket's a locket. Doesn't matter what shape it is. It's considered bad form to poke fun at the head of the hearing in our society. Look, it's considered bad form to poke fun at the heart of hearing in our society. Heart of hearing or heart of understanding. So what happened next? Then the last hand is done, but something terrible has happened, huh? Something terrible? Eh. Defense will refrain from needless shouting. Sorry. Need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing. Now, Miss Orley, can you tell us what happened? Oh, I was so frightened, duh. I trembled with fear. The man flew at the victim and is strangling him to death. The defendant would never do such a thing. That's not... Justice, that's not... Anyway. Well, no, I can't say that I've ever heard of the defense trying this tactic. If possible, please refrain from embarrassing me. Still, why would anyone do something like over a game of poker? Perhaps it is because the defendant has lost game? Yes, a crushing defeat for a man undefeated. So it is always with men like him. Winners make sore losers. Oh, how the mighty fall. Go ahead. Believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir. Leave it to me. There are only 3 people in the room at the time. Victim, Shaddy Smith, Wright, and... Mr. Wright isn't the killer. Got you now, Orley. Okay. That is wrong. Article. Or record article %. Oh, really? Wrangled, you say? That's odd. Ah, is normal customer only choke on borscht? No, I mean, this report shows the victim died of a blow to the forehead. Ah! Miss Orley, really now. Did you witness the crime? Eh? Wow. Told me why Spider-Man that. Looking at the picture, doesn't seem like he was hit. Still wearing his hat and everything. Yet it's a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here's the photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation. Oh, that's quite shocking, isn't it? His head certainly was hit. Photo 2 added to the court record. But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at the victim, his neck. Really, Miss Orley, I think I've caught you in your lie this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I found a contradiction. Only one
Only one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Well, seems we should continue this cross-examination. Such a thing as thinking too much. The horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. Such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too.
Oops. For record. That was patient.
Missing his locket. Try this. Victim plays whole time with a hand on the locket at the neck.
Objection!
Well, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what you are thinking so intensely about? All the testimony, Your Honor. Victim played with his hand on his locket at his neck. I believe he said. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. You see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Jeff. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean?
We are to believe this witness's testimony as is. A locket disappeared following the victim's death.
Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. Quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He's taking off his locket. Does that explain it?
Ah. Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say.
Yes?
You just noticed this, but... have something hanging around your neck, don't you?
Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a locket. Photograph inside. A photo. Daughter.
Nick, you have a daughter? Fucking 8 years have been good to you. Come again? So right, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. Mr. Wright had a locket too? Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence?
Shit! Fucking... Nick got busy. Well now, results of this poker game. Murder. Perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. The defendant lost badly.
He didn't really lose badly. He lost to King High. Like, that's pretty good. They both had full houses. Like, that's incredible. Miss Orley testified at the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
Duh. Competition. The game began with 3,500 chips for each man. House chips come in 2 sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant played with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
Ah, how many times have I heard these? I'd done it in a fit of anger, and now I regret what I had done. Common tale, but true.
Thinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years. Testimony must be wrong.
Big chips worth less? That's really funny. Start pressing. Those the usual starting points? Are there any special rules? No, not special. Full game, usual rules. Each man began with 3,500 points, and the total would be, exactly 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus. On division. 7,000 points. 5, 6. And yeah, okay. Red chips are worth 10 more of the gray ones. Or black chips. There's 6 red chips, and there's 10 black ones. So yeah, right was up by a ton. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Of course. Fishy with the chips. Should I press harder? Not now. Nah. Her nature to be jumpy and suspicious looking. It's her nature to be jumpy and suspicious looking. Telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing? Must have been most unlucky day for him. I'm glad it did not take other picture of him. Great camera, certainly. The chips, they went always to the victim's side of the table. Oh, you're telling me it was a one-sided game? One-sided, and the last hand defendant played with all chips on table and loop. Last hand? Largest points of any hand. Defendant's hand was excellent. Tried to use it to take victory from behind. Here's a both the defense and the victim's hand picture. That is truly an excellent hand. However, so is the victim's. One with highest number wins, so defendant loses. The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I think that explains what occurred next. Once card lay down on the table, it happened. Loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and... And? What happened next? Even to think of it now, I shake and tremble, I do not believe such a thing would happen. What such thing? Please, you must believe me. You must believe. I had no idea. Could such thing occur? What such thing? Yet. The defendant had been hitting victim. I saw it all happen right before me. I saw bottle coming down on victim's head. Decisive, isn't it, Your Honor? A witness saw the very moment of the crime. Remember, your first goal is to gather information. Yes, sir. No contradiction. Here comes justice. Yeah, chips keep going to the other side because we have some break change. Press harder. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips. Explain? What is there to be explained? Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. They're not chips off the old block. Not a motorcycle or... Thanks. I pressed her. I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? Yet, as I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. 2 types of chips, 100 points chip and 1,000 point chip.
Not money, duh. Justice. Sir? Find a comment. Resting. More ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to the testimony itself. Well, defendant want a witness to add to her. Yeah, fuck yeah. Yes, I do think this is further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. Wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well, witness. You would be so kind. Ah, Your Honor. Hold it! I haven't said this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why. Justice. What a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. You're not in kindergarten. Ah, sorry, I'm fine. Better think of something to ask. Quick. 2 types of chips. Small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1,000. Right? Right, of course. Ah! Don't waste our time. Is that alright? Yeah. Great. Gavin made me stop her, and now I'm the one who looks dumb. Oh, Justice. Please try not to embarrass me like that. Huh? Who? Me? Clear contradiction in the information you have. What? Simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. Not in kindergarten now. Calculation? One chip is worth 1,000 points. It is worth 100. Nines and all. Which one do I press on? I think it's here? Do I go back to the first one? 3,500 each. Going to the others. Yeah, so I know what the contradiction is. What's in the crock pot? I assume borscht. $3,500 points. One kind is worth 100, one other is worth 1,000, 2 kinds in all. Bring the victim. Okay. I think here. This is the problem with the Ace Attorney games. I know what is the contradiction. I don't know how to present it, though. Because you need to present specific evidence on specific statements. And I think it's this one and this one. Objection! Right. Sure, it was the victim who won. Absolutely sure? It seems an attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten. Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, ones were worth 1,000 points. Why, the big ones, of course. Duh. Well, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up. The totals? Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 chips. And the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, my calculations are correct. Let's see. +1, carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all of the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points, the small chips are worth 100. You add them up. How much is it? Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. Chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. But why? How could this be? Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why.
Right. There's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Starting points are wrong. Chip count was wrong. Both were right. What? The starting points were right. The number of chips was right. Both were right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. All the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, and there can only be one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? Small chips are worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness out of madness.
Show me that photograph of the chips again. 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why? It does make 7,000 points. Add them up. Excellent work, Justice. Almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips still. Ah, exactly. Small chips are at least if the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100. Let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, 1,900 points, and the defendant, 4,100 points. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible!
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning.
Yeah!
Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you?
Eh?
Oh, there's a lobster inside the crock pot. Order, order! It appears the defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened.
No.
We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the witness's testimony. Excuse me, what is it, Miss Orley?
I did not want to be saying this, but... Actually, you see, What, Miss Orley? What do we see? In the last hands, it was cheat. A cheat? You don't mean... a trick?
Wait, what do you mean? Scam!
They're all the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are.
Great. Just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Now, this case certainly has taken a turn. Interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating. Final hand.
Last hand, both men had full house. There's 4 of each card in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in hand and poor Mr. Smith.
Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? Thought I smell the cover up here. Well, folks, time to throw back the covers. Full house is a very high-scoring hand. Easy to make in my...
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin? What's a full house?
Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker.
Can't say this bodes well for your case, or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? That'd be really funny if it was. Justice, you know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair. 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? Now, you see each player's hand in the photo? Wow, they both have full houses. You forget, there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. Cheat!
Him! Defense may cross-examine the witness.
Did cheat in the last hand. Still leaves one important question. Right, lost that hand. Never heard of a professional con man losing when they... Last hand, both men had full house. How hard is it to make a full house, anyway? It is quite hard, da. It is making a pair and making 3 of a kind at the same time. Guess that's right. Very difficult, to be sure.
You can take my word, it's the poker head of courtroom number 3.
Very difficult, da, but not impossible. Okay, full house, hard. Line of questioning, waste of time. All of each card in deck is from ace to king. 4 of each card, you say? Ah, there's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. Interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons. Huh? You don't say.
Ah, did you know that the cards are numbered from 1 to 13?
Add all the cards in the deck, you get 364 a year. Huh? You don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year. Thus you have a perfect representation of the year, all in a deck of cards. Huh. You don't say. I'm gonna be in this courtroom for a year if this keeps going like this. Both men's hand, are obvious.
Doesn't look like it.
How is it clear? Ah, well, the defendant played a 5th ace. A 5th ace? You'll remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's hand too. Obviously, cheating was a foul. Or perhaps I should say, a hand. Drawn up preparing. Perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Joke.
Very well. Witness will add this detail to her testimony, please.
Neither of them have aces, though. That's... yeah, it's just regular. It's ace. What? Fifth ace? Ah, it does not exist, no? I still remember both hands very well. Yes. Wright's hand is the same. Card come from that. I should ask the defendant that very question. Adding cards to a deck is no less serious of a taboo than forging evidence in a court of law. Now, time for you to say something. Bet. No intention of staying quiet. Not me. No, sir. But,
Objection!
It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? What's my name? Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of chips, is it not? Justice? Perhaps you ought to explain your point, that the judge can comprehend.
In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. Particular point contradicts the witness's testimony. There. Miss Orley, in her testimony, made the following claim. Both hand had 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Dick. Well, that maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question. Objection! Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand. Does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please! It's true, I have seen it. The 5th ace. It was cheating, I swear to you. It's odd. She must be lying. She's the most sincere I've seen her all day. All right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. Might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. Cards? Mr. Payne. Yes? His hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request the cards be shown to the court. Well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Will you examine? Victim's cards or defendant's cards? Cards don't prove cheating is going on, nothing. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? Victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. Defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Well, Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. Evidence. Well, time's wasting. Get justice. Evan. Aha! Also, they're red. Cards as a blue back. Much more of a red guy myself. Blue is so not red, you know? Yeah, okay. Card backs are red. For some reason, I thought they were blue back cards. That's all I need. Yes, sir. Fucking did that. Oh, it's walking me through it. Examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and all that. Try using the little to turn them every which way, and then E and M to give you a better perspective on. Okay, let's do this. Fucking alright. Backs are red. For some reason, I thought that blue cards in the final hand. Didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Huh? Oh, Was it now? What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. Back is different. Back is a different color. Eh? Eh? That is impossible. Put that card in Mr. Right. Back. What was that, Miss Orley? No, yet. I merely said that, I have what? I have. Eek. Your Honor? Mr. Gavin, yes. Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Ah! Wait, so you mean... this witness, Miss Orley? She's the cheater. Professional, I'd wager. Yeah! Order. Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. Possible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Mr. Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Miss Chatty Smith. Oh! Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean... The defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Orley, are you? Time for justice. There are 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Eek! I thought it was going to drop on her head. Mr. Payne, where's your witness, Miss Olga? It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor. Justice. Your Honor, it seems you've presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Smith. And that means? The court cannot pronounce a verdict at the defendant at this time. What? Did it. Held out. See no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Objection! Vic? Mr. Wright? Can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think. Cards had a different color back. Don't you wonder what... what are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous. Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent. For the ridiculous. Flashback! I call the parrot to the stand, Your Honor. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As I was saying before, we alternated between the 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before. 2 decks of the club have different colored backs. Red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, 2 decks might get mixed. Different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but it's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that blue cards... Yeah, me too. There's someone said something about blue cards. Whatever, in the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck that seemed to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Follow? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. The last game. When was the glass card swapped? When? Broad possibility. Could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped... Oh? Might be as simple as you think, Mr. Not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When the cards swapped into the... When it was swapped into the deck. Before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder? Does it make sense for it to have been swapped before the murder? Before the murder, Nick and the victim would have seen it. During the murder, when would you have found time during the murder? It had to be after the murder, right? That one makes the most sense. Perhaps it happened after the murder? What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly. Objection! Yes, but tell me. Why do you swap cards during the game?
Take silly and to you impossible. Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible. Oh? Even the backs of cards are a different color? Hold that during the game. You'd be caught in no time. Ah. Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder. Okay, so this is going past silly and straight on into crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that? Indeed. That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. We swapped the red card for... Who? Game the murder. Done. Him is dead. Only two remain in the room. Alive, that is. Defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for the blue card? Who swapped the red card for... Phoenix Wright, Olga Orley, someone else. It should have been Olga, but she thought she put it in Nick's hand. Wouldn't make sense for Wright to do it, unless he was trying to frame himself for murder. Must have been someone else. Right? Done. Who's dead? Name. Then Phoenix Wright and our Orley. Happened. Was it? Swapped with the red card. The Olga or one of the what? What? Hey, Olga. Must have been Olga Orley who swapped the cards. Trying to cover up evidence of cheating. That does make some sense. Sorry. Problem with that explanation. Huh? Swap card was from the wrong deck. Yes, the blue card was stuck into the red hand. Using a card from the wrong deck. Backs are color different? Remember that you're talking about Olga Orley. She's a healer. Really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even the judge making it. A little more thought, Apollo. Right. Off the red and blue cards. I'm gonna swap the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orley either. What are you suggesting? Hardly a logical conclusion, I admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make a mistake of swapping the wrong color card. If the card was swapped during a game, the obvious. Huh. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I'm thinking how much fun all this is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. The one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orley. And who was it? Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take new direction. New direction? We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. That someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card. one who did the swap didn't know 2 colors of cards would be. The other mistake, the number on the card. Right. The person replaced the 5th ace. King. Sure, whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. They knew it was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case records, this person doesn't exist. True, not until now. You have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. So it's more than a possibility. Someone else there that I didn't see. What? Jeez, thanks for holding out on us, Nick. I believe the judge spoke truth. You make trials ridiculous. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence shall, we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well, this trial will resume in 20 minutes. April 20th, 11:52 a.m. God, it's been fucking an hour and something. District Court, defendant lobby number 3. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Suddenly claim that there was another person at the scene of the crime, like that. Must ask, is this the truth? Well now, I think you know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for Mr. I only ask that you leave the defending to your defense, and otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Yes, sir. The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without. What is the portrait behind the couch there? Why is there a judge with mountains in the background? What is happening there? You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear. Is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. Picture of my daughter in there. Oh, you're cute. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. One who cheated that night. Was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? I did. Not unreasonable to think. Cheat? I never. Honest, but... What happened 7 years ago? Nick, did you forge evidence? It is odd that he managed to... Know something? Only one game where you can dealt bad cards all night. Poker. Eh? Poker is all about reading your opponent. That way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker, like a trial law? Figure out what your opponent is thinking and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. As they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true intentions. Even reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. Hitting. That witness, for instance, orally. To touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Oh no! Are there tells now? Ah, shit, dude. I don't know if that's gonna make this game harder or easier. It's... Ooh. That's an interesting one, though. Notice? Absolutely not. Come on, who'd notice that? Birds, habits, twitches. All information for... That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me. Now, I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No. Can do it. Huh? Don't know it yet. Talking about it. You will, soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. No. I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. Apollo, I need you to be there defending me. Need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. It's not that power. It's time. Real trial begins now. Best. Well, shit. To be continued. What do you mean to be continued? God, this is a long first trial. Oh, we're going for an hour and a half now. We're still not done the first trial? We haven't got to walk around yet? Fucking hell. Continue to the next chapter. Yep, let's keep going. April 20th, 12:14 p.m., District Courtroom number 2. Am I still alive? I hope to God I am. Yeah, okay. Still good. I had to look at this. I had to pull up my stream again just to be safe. God, this is interesting. I like this so far. Court will now reconvene. Our witness, Olga Orley, recovered. Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness. Perhaps we can hear her version of events again. That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued. You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand. Very well. Witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar. A poor loser. Yeah. Not. Whoa! Name's Olga Orley. This is the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh, really? Want to know something else? Not really Russian. My last name sounds like, oh, really? That's the truth. There, that's the truth. Hope you're satisfied. Damn. Why they gotta make the bad guys so hot? Shit. Witness, you'll tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you're currently under arrest. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Those first fabrications should have had serious consequences. Fuck. Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy, Mrs. Smith, hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Smith's a well-known poker player in some circles. Winning wasn't the main purpose of the game. But destroying the legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant really. See, we set up a trap of sorts. I was plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their. When the hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. We'd then pull up the planted card and the trap would be snapped shut. Swap the cards. Expose the cheater and losing on top of it. Could have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would have been dashed to pieces. Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at it. At cheating would cast doubt upon all his prior wins. 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh really, oh really. How droll. But it appears you've made quite the mistake. Mistake? I agree the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from the trap laid by Olga Quickfingers. Oh, really? Witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind, Dick. Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. I won't deny that. When you're when you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. Best laid traps. That night I planted the card like I was supposed to. Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no good cheat and defend him. Surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect. That rotten cheetah hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking. Well, the testimony, for what it's worth. All yours, Mr. Witnesses like her. Who needs criminals? Defendants like Mr. Wright. Who needs prosecutors? Alright, let's do this. That night I played the card like I was supposed to. Playing a card. Which card was it exactly? Trump card. 5 of hearts. Let me guess. Mr. Wright would have switched 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of, thereby ruining his legend. I slid it into Wright's pocket. When was it? Before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we served borscht and suckers. Mind me never to go there. Of course, the card was to make his grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. Wright lost the last hand like he was, and Smith searched him. So, everything went according to plan? Exactly. 5th ace came up. It was obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud. There are worse things to be known as, I suppose. Tell us what happened with the search. The land card was gone. The trap failed. Card here? Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone. Without a trace. Poof. Zippo. Searched every nook and cranny. Even inside his cute little head. Card was nowhere to be found. Correct? Never in my long storied career. Never has Quickfingers or O'Reilly been so readily duped. Oh, really? What did happen to that 5 of hearts? Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant? 5 of hearts is still missing in action. Five down there. I bet it's gonna be that specific. Heart down there. Cards in this jacket. Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? Searched Mr. Wright thoroughly, found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Look, well, what the fuck? What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. No, nothing, Your Honor. Do. Press her a little harder? Fuck it. So really, hiding something. What are you talking about? Me, Quickfingers O'Reilly. Hide something? The defense will refrain from baseless accusations. What? 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 I have one question for the witness, then. You saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw one right hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it. Weird vibe I'm getting. That witness, friend. So really, touch the back of her neck. Parts of her chest. Did you notice? Touching her neck? What is going on? What? What is happening? What is going on? This sensation. It's coming into focus. There, that twitch so clear. Like I could perceive her habit. Like I couldn't before. Perceive! That's a fucking wild mechanic. Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you're unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justin? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says the part of the testimony, subconsciously recalling something, her body reacts to the memory, touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about? This is highly unusual. Let's ask the defense. Claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence memory to show us. Habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the crime. What would remind her most of the moment of the crime? So really, if you recall the crime that night, scratch your neck. Notice it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an erasable impression on your neck is this. What? 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 If she talks about the moment of the crime, touches her neck. What reminds us more of the moment than the bottle of the murder weapon? But something doesn't fit. You were the only witness to the crime. Why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What's he talking about now? It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit. Not you. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits are completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. Certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Yet, I am knowing nothing. You know, you're not Russian. Witness will testify, please. Now. Ah, fine. Yeah, sure, just keep showing that animation. I like it. He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got there. Hold it! You seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Your eyes are darting all over the place. Must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at the table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this. So, what do you think about your testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Your testimony is flawed. Basically bogus. Contradicts the evidence. What's that? Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. It's evidence that you claim contradicts the testimony. You didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. Oh. Fucking... Miss O'Reilly, you have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made the phone call on the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. Ah! So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Yeah! Why is the bull... Man who picked up a bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant. Down time. Dirty cheat. Fix pockets now. It's gone. Card's gone. Lose. Ugh. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to Ryan. And hit me. You. The master of cheating you turned out to be. Eh. And I came too. Victim was already dead. Is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who it really was. Who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be suspect for sure. Well, where does this leave us? Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming. Must have been me who was hitting the pill bottle. I'm a man and imagined all of this. It appears our prosecution is at its end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Gavin, sir? I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big fat liar. What? Three were in the room the night of the murder, then at the victim and her. And she has a motive. Motive? Her plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with the client, Smith. And the announcement of that argument, and the denouement of that argument was murder. What? I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me. Tangled webs, we practiced it. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright! Such a hasty conclusion. Not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person... Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before the recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know two colors of cards would be... Fourth person. Ah! It's theory again. Your fourth person doesn't exist. Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. Perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal. And, luck. Clue to the real criminal's identity, kindly provided to us, for us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo. Perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry. What I said. Fourth person who swapped the card. One critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color of the backs of the cards. Right. How could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used last game. Yet, one person here in our court thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too. Why? Well, Apollo? Thinking you could figure out who it was. It's not me, I swear! Who is this fourth person? Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Was it? I thought the cards used in the final game were blue. What? What? I don't remember. Is it Kristoff? You try to bury, right? I don't. What is happening? Okay, so we gotta walk this through. It's not right. Not Olga Orley, and it's not Shaddy Smith. I seriously doubt it's Winston Payne. Is it Kristoff Gavin? Is Gavin trying to bury right? I'm going to say yes. As expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right? Kristoff Gavin. Fourth person then. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. Can't tell which of the cards is blue. The ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colors in this photo. Yes, when he said cards were well before the evidence came to light. Not a game, per se. Competition. Just of wits, a silent clash of passions. Cards, their backs read blue flame. No, the final outcome! Oh, shit! Well, Kristoff? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me. So sudden. Bryce, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff. You know, even I'd never joke this. Shit, dude. What is going on? This has gone beyond ridiculous. Beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder. I assure you I'm quite sane. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the crime? I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met. Well, they have. Huh? There's a possibility, after all. They have met that night before the game started. What are you suggesting? The truth that Mr. Pitt was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court.
Objection!
The defense would like to request no such thing. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happen before the game of poker be related? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss Orley... So really? I should assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this. He is the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. The court, in your opinion, hear Mr. Wright's testimony. Yeah, yeah, it does. It was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. A2, Justice. You would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty, this is about the truth. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will you take the stand, please? This is fucking buck wild. Appetite before murder. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. Sat at the table in this photograph. Sadie Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. Trap failed. Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncomfortable. Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut in his forehead. That's when I made another phone call. Defense attorney Gavin. Gavin. We were at the Borch Bowl Club the night of the murder. I dine with him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. Thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. Planning on this all along, weren't you? As you wanted to drag me into your murder trial. One thing I want is the... As I did back then. Now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took on defense. It appears that I was wrong. Well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice. Sir. He's lying and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? What a fucking wild first trial. God. Ian and Kristoff and I had dinner at the table in this photograph. Good dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dines with me at the Forest School Club quite. Throwing a usual dinner with our usual squad, as usual. Usual? I always see that the table closest to the piano. See. Where Mr. Smith was sitting. But the plates and such on the table were from your dinner. Indeed. Remnants of my meal with Kristoff. Bowl of borscht, a bit of bread. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left. After that, Sadie Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. 5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed each other, passed in the restaurant during the time. It's been a fateful encounter. Oh, Mr. Wright. What was it you said? Kristoff Gavin and Shady Smith may have met? I believe I did say that. Here I was all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear it was just a passing in the hall. Does seem a little weak to pretense for murder. What would be? That were all really that happened. Oh, Mr. Wright, what are you hiding this time? Trap failed. Smith hit. But this failed trap. Same trap that Miss Olga O'Reilly mentioned? Simple, elegant. Set up a trap of sorts. Plant a card in Rat's pockets beforehand. Deal 5 aces during. As revealed, Smith would call him out and search right. Then pull out the plain of card and the trap would be snapped shut. Swap the cards. Like that, the legend would be dashed in pieces. Yes, harmless prank in that. It was by a quick quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket. Found a card. Card she planted. Yes, I took a peek at it and found it was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something would happen if I disposed of the card. Game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking, right beside me. Threw the card inside the bottle. Empty bottle of grape juice? Murder weapon? Yes. Rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes. Battle of wits between Beaver and. Sounds like a terrific drama. What? Bottle. Hard inside the murder weapon. Police miss it in their investigation. I'll take a look. Bottle is completely empty. Okay. Please revise your testimony. New information. Unverifiable. Verifiable. The phone, I don't think will turn on.
Hold it!
Fucking jump. By the bottle. I perceive my opponents used to entrapments. Knew what was coming. Oh, struck first. I like that. How have you tricking the book? Don't work on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? I've examined the bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No? What? Mr. Wright, surely isn't your all you have to say for yourself. I can't say I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out. Oh, and a sixth person could have helped. Gavin. Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies. I won't you have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Mr. Wright winking us again? Did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. Afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh. Honor, justice, break him. Just you and the witness on the ring. Go for the case. Oh, I don't get the feeling we're not on the client's side anymore.
Hold it!
You had called for the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get signaled down on the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at the time? Not a soul. In the middle of the night after all. So there in the darkened restaurant, all the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the waitress alone. Don't have the When you return, it was already dead, yes. I'll admit I was a little startled when I walked in. Little. Thinking from his forehead after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on that.
Hold it!
Can you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair. Figured Kristoff's lost, and a friend rate for my defense fees. Ah, glad to hear you intend to pay. Well, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It's I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Truth Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. Lying. Expose him. Now. I think they've found another one. Card in the bottle. I'll have to call the police. That's turning from his...
Objection!
You're right, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? Wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could just see the blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, a little more oomph into it. You're right. Can you explain this to the court? Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put the hat on his head. Huh? You put the hat on the dead man's head. You wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, head was in too. Shining bright, just like in this photograph. And picked up his hat off the ground, off the floor, and put it on his head. Why did you do the thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. That's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. Though Miss O really didn't see it. It being the victim's his head. I think not. It was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed it. Ah, here we go. Gavin? Him, pardon. It just seems like our client is attempting to lie his way through the case. Hey, he's still our client. I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? Witness's testimony is like a travesty, riddled with lies. Beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's lip badge 7 years. Well, you certainly have a unique reading your clients, Kristoff. You're new. I believe it was you who threw the stone. You're right. You intended to ever tell the truth about this case. It's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. I noticed the trap. Put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. When I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason. So, reason. That reason, right here. Or cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case it recorded our conversation. It's this. Now that we're all here, I've seen a reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Oh. Kristoff, seem to be in a bit of trouble. This game not going well? Something like that. The gentleman who challenged you turned out to be good? Turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. Mean someone cracked that flawless bone china plate? China pat? It wasn't you, was it? Me, please. The cops could be here any minute. Your hands. Could it come to that? Ah, Kristoff. You didn't see his head. Oh, that was a spelling error. It was plate. Bone china plate. A kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but pat. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Judge, it's okay. It's 2024. You could be bald. Wait a second. Something's not right about that phone call. After Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you. Left the Borscht Bowl Club? Certainly. Then, how did he know? When did he see this bone china pat? China pate. Oh, that's right. Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. I spotted Mr. Smith's head again and realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged information? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, hasn't it, Phoenix Wright? Order. I will have order. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. I believe this court has been left with no other choice. We are prepared to hear defense attorney Gavin's testimony. Well, as a prosecutor, I... Very well. Break for 10 minutes. After which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? We're still clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess for... Oh god. This is fucking 3 parts for chapter 1. It's been 2 hours. Fucking hell. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both on the judge's chamber. Thought that today would turn out like this. May I? Oh, hello. You're cute. Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. What's all this about? This one okay? Red card. Excellent. Message for... Last hand is about to fade. You'll need a trump card to make it. Is... Okay. Trump card? Card you have chosen is magical. Wisely. That's all. Ace. Remember that card from? Aces. Right, it's had 5 aces in all. Ah, the red ace that was removed. Swapped with a king. Good, I've seen it, the 5th ace. Cheating, I swear to you. 5th ace. Wait, blotch of red. Blood? You have your trump card. Now down to you to put the deck, draw the truth. Father's fate is in your hand. I know you can do it. Aww. And then she vanished. She faded from existence. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth. I felt deep in thought as my mind raced to what all this meant. Have it? No, I don't yet. Girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? When I made the connection. Bloody ace out of the court. There we go. April 20th, 2:45 p.m. District Court Room 2. This first. Drop of blood marks the front of this card. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Will the witness state his name and occupation? Boss is necessary, Your Honor. Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Flashback, I couldn't bear it to the stand. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? Secret? I'm guessing it means the fact that Mr. Smith is bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is this about this fellow's head? What is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have had an inordinate... Objection! Oh fuck, hey Nick. I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright? What do you think you're doing, right? Wow, things should look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Looking different from the other side. Let's consider something for a second. Victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off except for that one time.
that one time the instant he was hit. Oh! Mr. Wright returned, reporting the crime. The hat was lying on the floor. Wright picked it up, placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, he would have had to have been there, Ida, time of the crime. In other words, I must be the killer. Trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Gavin. I'm afraid that I have been entirely honest with the court. I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yes, I'm afraid in the current situation I see no reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, in your testimony, tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? Rage I sensed in that man, the night trouble. I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in the window in the hideout. Been there right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright, holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. So, witnessed the murder. Better or worse, I missed the actual moment. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? Standing on the witness stand, after all. You are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you... You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Right? Had to say that. That was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo. Oh. Right. Defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. The trial is getting weirder and weirder.
Welcome to Ace Attorney. Oh, I should have screen capped that. That's so funny.
Rage I sensed that man that night.
Hold it!
That man. I mean, Mr. Smith. He was different from the other customers, or a show. He was a serious poker player. It was more than that. He knew the true nature of your client's job. Of course. I also knew that he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. We're friends, after all. Word from my friend, I returned to the club. See, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. See, what happened then? Went down to the basement and peeked into the window in the hideout.
Hold it!
Little window. You mean the one used to keep watch up the stairs? Can't we just get this diagram? Yes, relic of the ancient past. Black marketeers used. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking though? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into... Want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. Or everything he's saying makes sense.
Hold it!
How did you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout, Justice. Ugh. I was just getting to that part in my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West. Know and love. Even when you're standing up on there on the witness stand. Some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You have that overbearing personality. Friends like these, who enemies? He was dead as he appears in the photo.
Hold it!
By the photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. Wright came along and replaced his hat. Describe the scene of the crime for us. Bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand.
Hold it!
Were the only three things at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw, at least. And we're back where we started. Killer was the killer, the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police? Two reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice. I said I saw no one. I said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah, yes, this mysterious fourth person. Conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gibb. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the... Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary. I show something I can't find myself. Remember Apollo? Card was swapped out. Fifth ace. Fifth ace. Right. Well, Mr. Jones. The question of why the killer would swap out a card has been... You point to a reason. I guess I throw out the bloody ace, but I think I need to press a little bit more. No, not yet, Your Honor. Not yet? Ah, pathetic. Not yet. Try not ever. Well, Mr. Gavin, well, I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes. Great, I don't even know what the heck I'm looking for. Follow. Yes, sir. Yet. Already know the answer. I don't realize you did. I already know the answer? Moment to think it over again, okay?
Hold it!
Wouldn't it have been better to wait for the police to arrive? Remember, though, at the time I was already Wright's defense attorney. Wouldn't do for me to become part of the investigation. That makes sense. Does it? I'm confused. Well, what happened next?
Hold it!
Where were you when the phone call came? I'd already left the washable club by the time. On the phone, he asked me to defend him. Naturally, I was surprised. Accepted, however. Didn't abandon him. So kind of you. For everything jives with Mr. Wright's testimony, I think. A problem for you to cross-examine your own boss? I'm fine. Who was it that taught me never pull punches in cross-examination? You, Mr. Gavin. Learned from watching you.
Hold it! Objection!
Fifth ace, right? To a reason, I guess so. Now or never. Defendant would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why the card was swapped out. Really take the fifth ace. There was blood on it, I guess.
Take that!
Reason is, this. Is that an ace? Why? Why, it's got blood on it. Right here, next to the spade. What? This is insane! Why wasn't I told about this? Why? But this be the missing fifth ace. Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Gavin's so upset. It's a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card. Mine. It is. Picked it up from the Forcible Club that night the murder occurred. Gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade, after all.
Objection!
No, impossible. Unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's fraud. Fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who would claim it was a fraud. You're the one who took the real card from the crime scene. You'll kill her. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at the photo. And the victim's head. Take another look at the photo and the victim's head. The moment of the crime, his hat fell on the floor. A trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Ace was in his hat? Couldn't a drop of that blood fallen onto one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood.
Objection!
Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know that what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system. Important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? Wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence.
Objection!
This is baseless conjecture. Baseless.
Objection!
Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really. A single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the... Quite simple. El Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Whoa, we're getting 3D with this shit. Murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found in the poker table. Before the killer swapped a card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the hand. Given this, one decisive problem with the scene. Well, what is it? Keep it simple, shall we? Given there was a drop of blood on a card, position that whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? Victims, the killers, witnesses, second witness. It would be... I guess the victim. This doesn't fit with a bloody card. Not a lot of room for there to be.
Take that!
Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You think any blood would fall behind the body, not on the table in front of him? Ah, take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, blood would fall onto the floor, not the cards. Why, that's right. What does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Hey. Oh, okay. Chair was facing the other way. Have to be. You have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. Wright returned to inform the police. Where was the chair facing? Came back to the room. The body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Take the next step. Diagram once more. We now know the victim was facing away from the defendant at the time of the murder. We now know the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our understanding of the crime? Victims, alias the witnesses, or the second witness? Be the killers. You couldn't have struck him on the front of the head if he was facing away from you.
Take that!
Victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Seeing where his indicator currently is? I would think it'd be quite hard, yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall? In the middle of a game? I believe a sufficient reason light. What? Something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Although if the victim was struck while sitting down here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram. What? But no room to put a mark. The killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we find. You know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time. The only thing we know for sure. Or forget about everything else. Would the killer have standing to strike out a victim from the front? Standing in the fucking cab. The killer had to be standing, well, here. Points for flair, but that's about all you get. I was on something, too. Hard thing to point out, but standing there wouldn't be impossible. The victim was facing a solid cupboard. Or you claim the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above. Ha! Simple logic, really. This was the only place the killer would be standing. That means, at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, cupboard wasn't there. What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard at the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Your Honor? What? There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this... Bailiff. Yes. See. You belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. My best. Let's forge ahead here, while we wait. Diagram once again. Been changed. The killer was standing here at the time of the crime. And this cupboard wasn't here. Means, Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard wasn't a problem. At the time of the murder, has to have been as shown here. Now everything is in place to resurrect the moment of time. Oh my. This... What is it now? The diagram of the crime scene once.
appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction. Fact. Oh? Oh. Huh? Oh, dang. Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Victim, the killer, the witness, or the second witness? The second witness. Yeah. Gavin couldn't have seen from the window because the cupboard was...
Take that!
These buttons. The controls are a little funky. About this cupboard. Are we okay with assuming moved? Or why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs. Ah. Right, someone standing outside wouldn't have been in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What did you say? Oh? Coolest defense in the West, losing. Ugh. Don't expect me to play along with your little game, Mr. Wright. Little game, right? Only a game till someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was. All the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court. Exactly, where did you witness the crime scene from?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Order. This is a court of law and I will have order.
We just received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard at the hideout, Your Honor.
Oh, what did they find?
Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it.
What? Oh yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks of the room. Many of our regulars... This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I remember him saying something about that, now that he mentions it. Secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're goings on. You never know when you might need to duck away from the eye of the law. The room has a secret passage? Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. And enjoy a cold bowl of borscht. Like our killer. See where a line of simple deductive reason led us, Apollo. I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? On, say something. Dare I ask what really happened then? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with Destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passage behind the cupboard. Breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Oh. Eek. What? Why did you do that? Wait here. I'll get help. This Olga O'Reilly, old, struck by Mr. Smith. This time was soon to come. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout, conscious of the killer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after done, the criminal must have seen blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to record the evidence. A single spot of blood told the story of the crime. Bad for him, he didn't linger any longer. Hideout then. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. The fact that they were all red
Ugh. Well, it seems that this trial taking yet another turn. Truly sorry I had to see they come, Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne. Here! I am, yes, Your Honor. Prosecution. Who's talking right now? The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Wah! Believe me when I say that I don't believe it's happening, Mr. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest.
Objection!
Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. Not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics for... Good point, Mr. Gavin. Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked. The person of your caliber would be taken in by such low-grade parlor trick. Excuse me. The defendant is cleared of all suspicion? This is hardly a time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. Not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Legal evidence.
Objection!
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason, at present, to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course. This bottle, for instance. Bottle of grape juice? Right, it was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? Not just any fingerprint. Am I right, Mr. I actually, yes. Fingerprints on the bottle were, upside down. I recall this being an issue earlier. The court in this case demand an explanation. I think of only one reason why one would hold the bottle upside down. And is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor? See how the hot fish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes? Boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation. Like that. Yeah. It's like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down, other than to... Don't let them trick you into thinking this explanation is only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there. Plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions and heat. Well, Mr. Justice, Gavin said the court and the case demand explanation. Where justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? It's actually easier to show than to explain, Your Honor. Place the bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me. Floor? Yes. Now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. Ah! See? You naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. Fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat there, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Wow, I can't believe it was that simple. Call our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice, then, too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do. So you must have remembered. You went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. And you switched the bottles. Took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. It was shockingly spotless, and also, the card is missing. Order, order, order! What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin? Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? Claim that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof? Proof? Well, that's,
As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty.
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, recall I requested an additional investigation. Ah, yes. I have your memo about that here. View the bottles from under the piano at the Portable Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. What are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if any were on that but his. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything. Hey, Apollo. Yes? You should go ahead and examine that bottle. Well, why? Just humor. Right. That bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. It is. Something inside the bottle. What's this? A card. Can't be. Follow the unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Logo, really? Yes, a little swindling Devochka. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Smith searched him. But that planted card was gone. The trap failed. Wait, this isn't... Telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one that you mentioned in this piece of testimony. I happened to put my hand in my pocket on a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of that card. For the game. Disposed? Where? There's an empty bottle of grape juice that I've been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. Five of hearts. This is the card. Bottles were swapped. The only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Oh, he's gonna explode. Whoa, 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 what? That is all. It's your idea of revenge, right? Revenge. Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. The past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. Glad we could have this little chat. Right? This is insane! What about me? I don't get to prosecute anyone? Oh, Jesus Christ! What a case! This is wild! I believe this time we've finally come to an end. Trial. Payne, you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin. He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now. I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he? None that we know of. Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. But this victim is Katie Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. An odd profession to be sure. That's all we know about him. I'll arrange for a follow-up investigation, Your Honor. Good. Right? Yes. 7 years. Still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin. And with much significance for me. Both as a friend and extremely talented, to be sure. I needed 2 things before I could confront him. First was a place where no injustice would be tolerated. Courtroom. Second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words,
defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? It's a dark time for our legal system. Twisting of justice brought on by our very own trial system. We have to set it right. Mr. Right, our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce the verdict. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. I still have the confetti. Oh, it's pixels now. It's not a little animated confetti. Court is adjourned. 20th, 4:28 p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number. Thanks, Apollo. Came through just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. You, according to Mr. Gav, the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. Sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, sensitivity I lack. Come to understand it soon. Wait, I wonder if he means... One question for the witness, then. You saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is that true? Of course it's true. Vibe I'm getting. What was that, Mr. Wright? You have to find the answer to that question yourself. Answer. Right. Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason they've had to commit? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days. Huh? Wait. You don't know, do you? Locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Her daughter, right? Right. My daughter. No. Right about this locket. Hey? Took this off his neck the night. It looks like our dear Russian scam artist. Truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified! You said the locket was yours! I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I really said it was a locket without his picture inside. Subtle distinction, but distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then, why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. Still just getting started with your... Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices, after all. I can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo. Yes? How about coming to work for me? Hey? You mean at the Wright & Co. Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. The incident 7 years ago. A legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man. Nick's Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion. Left law for good. Thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in the court of law. You notice in today's trial? A single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that couldn't have existed. Not a magician's. One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, perfect. But this was the forged evidence.
Take that!
I mean this, don't you? Got this from your, daughter, Mr. Yes, the card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place. Lucky for us. Court can't accept this evidence. Fraud. fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think that the only person who could claim it was the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed. 7 years. Then you really... Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it would. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney? Calling themselves an attorney, Paulo. True. The rumor is true. 7 years ago... None of that matters now. I punched him. Your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Up in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling "take that" next time. I'll find it packs a little more. Apollo, thanks for today. Had a good time. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. How my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea where they were. I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. Find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. This is how my story begins. That's the end. God, that was fucking complicated. Holy shit, it's been 3 hours in trial 1. The first one lasted 30 minutes. God damn. Oh my god, that was so long. Save complete. Return to games menu. God. Alright. Back to title screen. We're gonna take a break here. I'm real hungry. I gotta go get some food. God, that was good. That was real complicated, but that was good. I like that a lot. Oh my god. Oh, a lot was going on in that trial. So I guess Gavin was the one who either conspired with or was the one who took away. Oh, yeah, I guess he was the one who conspired to get Phoenix Wright taken off the bench. And Phoenix must have forged some kind of evidence 7 years ago that got him suspended as an attorney. Interesting. Attorney Wright and Co. Law Office is still around, so I guess someone is working there and keeping it alive as a business. Maybe it's Maya just running it as a shell business with no actual attorneys. That's interesting. Is there anything not resolved? This is going a long way to just frame Wright for murder. He's already taken off the bench. I don't know why you need to destroy his life anymore. So Gavin had some reason to kill Shady. Shady had a locket with a picture of Wright's supposed kid, a magician girl. That's weird. That's weird. Wow. It makes me really curious. I'm definitely going to be streaming more of this. For now, I am going to wrap this stream up here. Go get something to eat. So, thanks for hanging out. And thanks for watching, if indeed you still are. And I guess see you next stream. I don't know when I'm going to stream. It might be tomorrow. Who knows? It might be in an hour. Fuck. But, yeah. Fucking bye.